At what point did you lose camera consciousness? Because that particular scene, for instance, because you're facing the camera and facing the audience, you need to be doing all these things which you know that are an outside, like this camera assistant or something could be looking at you and wondering what is she doing or whatever, because they may not know the whole story or whatever it is, right? So was that just right from the beginning, you did not have it at all?
Can I be honest?
Yeah.
I don't think I've completely lost it. I think it's still, I still have
Okay,
it.
so you're still outside the character bit.
So I'll tell you, I feel like when the scenes are intense and there is a lot more emotion and depth in the scene, you go in deeper to the character.
Right.
And that's when you kind of don't have the camera consciousness because you're so involved and invested in it. Camera consciousness, I personally feel it in simpler scenes.
Okay.
When there's not much happening, when there's no like deeper emotion, there's just a conversation. And that too, you feel it the moment the camera comes close. Before that, you don't feel it.
Okay.
So I feel it's interesting because it's still there somewhere. And I also feel I've been a very shy kid. I was always very shy. I had stage fright growing up till a very long time.
Right.
Even now, sometimes if I'm going and performing, those few seconds before going on stage, there is that nervousness and everything. So yeah, there's a part of me that shy kid somewhere is still there,
Right.
and I feel like she kind of comes out and says hi every now and then. So, but I feel like that's why when it's an intense scene, I don't feel as conscious, and my only theory can be that I'm so into what I'm doing emotionally that I don't see anyone else.
Right. When I'm asking you to verbalize these things that are very instinctive and emotional, do you have to think a bit?
No.
No. Because you process it yourself.
Yeah. That way I'm kind of self-aware, I feel.
Yeah.
I feel all these things I also, because there are times where you're like, why am I getting conscious? Like what is, you feel your heart rate sort of raise and you're like,
why?
Yeah.
I've been through so many years.
Yeah. But I've also accepted that it's normal.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's good that you're nervous still.
Yeah.
Because I think that also kind of keeps you on your toes. You don't get like complacent and you don't become like, I know what I'm doing.
So Mukti is your character. At what point did you feel in Tere Ishq Mein that you really found her or you really knew her? Was it when you read the script, or was it on a particular day of shoot when, okay, now I know who this person is? When did you find her?
I think it was through the film, through the shooting.
You kept finding her throughout?
Yeah, because the present was shot later.
Yeah.
We shot linear in terms of her life. So we shot the college bits and, she changes, right? She's changing at every point.
Yeah.
What she starts off with and what she finally becomes are almost two different people, I feel.
Yeah.
So I found the present Mukti maybe around, I think the scene where I go to his house.
Oh.
Somewhere there. And the terrace scene. We actually shot the terrace scene first, so maybe that.
Okay.
And I found the one that she becomes later, I think through it. When she kind of says still aggressive and still angry.
Yeah.
Maybe that scene somewhere.
Yeah.
But obviously it was way more easier to understand the final one eventually when I had gone through everything.
Yeah. So when you've seen the film, right? The finished film.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, because sometimes,
No, I have.
Yeah, you have.
I have.
How did you react?
To the film, I'm terrible. I'm very critical. So if you show it to me the first time, my reaction is like very, like even the best film or a film that everyone's raving about, I can be like quiet.
Yeah.
But when it sank in, I was really proud of it. I felt it was something special.
Nice.
And I felt it was gutsy. And I felt like it was fearless and it didn't try to be safe. And that's what I loved. And I loved when I was talking to people, I loved how morally at a point people were like, I felt like, okay, maybe he's right. No, but she's also right in her place. He's also a little wrong and she's also a little wrong. I felt that was refreshing.
Yeah, I like films where, you know, this, it's in this very, very ambiguous gray zone.
Yeah.
Where you don't know, because there's a line that she says early on where she says, I look at it as work, you look at it as love. But that's a very dangerous thing to instigate in a guy, because it's like not guy, anybody. Like even if it
Yeah.
had been a guy telling this to the girl, because if somebody is emotional enough to look at it as love, then you're putting that person in a very vulnerable space. But at the same time, he's also, you know, doing his own.
But you know what? I felt like, firstly, I had to go back and tell myself she is in college.
Yeah.
You're not as mature or as
No.
thoughtful of everything.
That's the beauty of the character.
And the guy,
Yeah.
she doesn't take him seriously till a point. He's
Yeah.
not, he doesn't take himself seriously.
Yeah.
You know, the way he's talking, कि अरे कोई एक बस ये बोल दे या फिर 10 रुपए का बंटा पिला दे उसके लिए कोई करेगा. So the way he's talking, even he's not taking himself seriously.
Yeah.
So I think even in her manipulation there was a certain sense of being naive.
Innocent. Whatever.
Innocent, yeah.
Immature.
Yeah, is how I looked at her. So I feel like, firstly, I always feel that it's very important for you to not judge the character when you're playing it.
Yeah.
So I need to know my why of every scene.
But do you have a line that you won't cross? Like, for example, okay, I'll play this much, but this is somewhere I cannot go, you know? Like
In general?
In general. Like, for the usual example I give is serial killer or something like that, you know?
No,
like,
I'd be okay playing serial killer.
Yeah.
But as long as you're showing very obviously that the serial killer is wrong.
Okay.
I don't want to ever play a character that I feel is morally extremely wrong.
Okay.
And is glorified in that sense. So I feel like that is a very grey area for me. Like, I'd love to do a Gone Girl, but I don't want you to feel like, oh, she's right.
Okay.
You know? I want you to feel she's messed up.
Yeah.
She's not okay in the head.
Yeah.
So I feel as an actor, it's very exciting, in fact, to do stuff that you are not, you know, and morally you don't agree with. But it's the lens that you look at the character from,
Right.
you know.
And is that why you started your production company, so you can create roles for yourself that maybe they're not writing for you?
I mean, that's how the first one happened. But before that, when I was shooting for Mimi, I was so passionate about that film and I was just so involved in the project that I felt like, you know, I want to be involved in certain films beyond just being an actor.
Yeah.
Because it gave me a certain sense of creative satisfaction, and I was like, you know, almost obsessed with the film and what it was trying to say. And I was like, you know, that would have been probably the first film that I would have wanted to produce in life because it had my heart. So I felt like that was the time I felt that I want to do this at some point. And then I was sort of looking for something meaty, you know, as a character, and not too many people were writing enough stuff. Sometimes the character was good, the film was not, you know. So I wasn't finding that opportunity, and I was really like restless because I was like, now for my satisfaction, I need it. You know, I need to push the envelope. And that's when I kind of met Kanika. And we were meeting before that, very on and off. I feel like she writes beautifully layered characters. So I was like, you know, I want to do something.
I love Manmarzia.
Yeah, I mean, she loves...
That's hers, right?
Yeah, of course, yeah. So and she just asked me, what subject do you know, is there anything on your mind? And I was like, you know what, I feel a lot for domestic violence, and I feel like it's not been done enough, and it's not been looked at differently.
Right.
So, and she that time had like a twin story which had nothing to do with domestic violence. And she just had a twin story of like how twins kind of sometimes miss having an identity and they don't like each other. And I was like, that's interesting, double role, I haven't done it. Okay, fine, let me know. And then she kind of merged these two together. And that was it. I was like, let's do it.
Yeah. So the